Hi, everybody. Today we're going to talk about a use case for how to use OpenZoo. And we have Sharan here, who's a UX designer who used it for some legal documents. Sharan, do you want to first of all intro yourself?
Sure, I'm Sharan. I head design for a crypto company, but this is actually what I'm doing on the weekends. So it's got nothing to do with my day job. It's something that I code just to keep up with what's happening in the LLM space. And I chose a specific project got to do with legal, just so that I built it more or less for myself, so that I can understand the legal context of things, because I have an interest in that. So I built this project just on the weekends, and just to get up to speed with what's going on with LLMs.
Awesome. Sharan, could you tell us what you're building? Could you describe it or share your screen and show us?
So it's a rather straightforward app. Let me just share my screen. So I'll give you a quick tour of it. So let's say you have these legal cases and they have their own language and ways of speaking, and there are the various kinds of documentation and so on. Various forms of documents that are submitted at various points in time, and for a layperson it's just extremely hard to understand. So I could, for instance, come and drag and drop the documents into some app like this and get a good understanding. So what you're seeing here, I could just be acting on behalf of the plaintiff or the defendant. I can just declare that ahead of time, and who the party that I might be representing, or who I wanted to view it from, or whose perspective I want to view it from. And I can just drag and drop files over here. I'm not going to go through that because it's pretty straightforward. But what is very important to understand in a legal case is to understand who the actors are. And if you just come to this section and I click refresh, it'll actually go through all the documents that I might have uploaded, 50 of them or whatever. And these are lengthy documents, and it'll just create this list of individuals that are participating in it. And through this, I understand who the petitioners are, who the interveners are, who jumped in at various points in time. And here's another simple aspect, which is the timeline. This is also extremely important to understand. People mention dates at various points in the documents. So this LLM will actually, this application will go through all the documents, find all the dates and all the significant events, and put it down in a timeline. And then you have a better understanding as to what the case is about. So I could type in something like, where did this case get filed? And at this point, it will not only go and process the documentation to find out what the answer that I want, but it's also going to, find ancillary information about the context of the jurisdiction or the case that the question that I even asked, and it'll give me additional insights on the relevant laws and the known precedents and so on. So what is actually kind of important to notice here is all these functions are actually being done by LLMs, but it's not the same LLM. And if you want, I'll dive into the next step, but let me know.
Yeah, I think maybe let's come to what were the problems that you faced in developing this?
Right. So one of the biggest aspects is cost. And I think initially I approached it as, only using ChatGPT. And and it had to be 4 because the information that you're seeing in the chat response, that is actually the analysis of ChatGPT 4 was the best.
Mm-hmm.
And but for things like the finding the actors or the timelines, ChatGPT 4 GPT-4 model was overkill. And it doesn't need to kind of do that. I don't need to spend that kind of money in order to find basic information like this. So 3.5 or even Mistral or anything else, open source could have done that job.
Mm-hmm.
So the trouble was actually in optimization at the optimization step.
So how did OpenZoo help you with this problem?
So it's funny that I was looking for a solution. and I was cobbling something together by myself by writing different, LLMs models, instantiating different models at various points in the application, and making different calls at various points, and writing the codes separately for each of to handle each of the responses that come from these various LLM. And I ran into OpenZoo's listing on GitHub. I plugged it in, and immediately I was able to downsize my request to the smallest model for things like the timelines or the actors, and upsize when it comes down to analysis of the information itself. Now I've gotten into something else. Like I'm thinking of ways of optimizing this because of the ability for me to just use one line of code to kind of access various LLMs. So I'm actually thinking of buttons that need to go into this application, which will actually perform one specific task. And for that, I'm all this while keeping the idea of costs very low in mind. So I think I can really optimize this thing.
Awesome. That is really exciting to see what you built. Thank you so much for sharing it with us. And yeah, for all of you watching, I hope that inspired you, and I wish you all a good day. See you next time.
Thanks, Sharan.
Thank you.
Bye.